Welcome friends, let's code a Pomodoro timer today. This project was requested by Daniel Z. Pomodoro is a great tool to maintain schedules, effective for time management. Let's start with a basic HTML template. Create a div with class container. Inside it make a h1 element to hold the heading. Make another div below, and inside it place an input element with type number and a button. Carefully follow the class names. I'll use these for styling and CSS part. Also put an ID in input field called timer input. Give it a minute value 1 and default 25. The button will have the class timer key. I'll use this button to set the timer value later in JavaScript. Below the parent div element, create another div with ID timer. It will show the timer value. Next, make another div element below it with class control. It will hold 3 more buttons with class timer key. They will perform the functions like start, stop, and reset. Oh, I think we haven't yet changed the title of this page. Let's fix it. It is time to style the web page, so start with the body element. I'll start with a dark linear gradient background. I am using 2 different shades of blue and arrange them from left to right. The dark background will require a white font color and a standard font family. Then I'll add flex display to center the content and item in the screen. The body will also require 100% visible height and no margin for perfect center alignment. Next, give some style to the container class. I'll give it a white linear gradient background. It will also spread from left to right. And now it will need some padding. I'll give it 20 pixels on all sides. Unfortunately, we can't see the heading now in white background. So let's give it some style. I am using a light blue shade for H1 color with size of 45 pixels. I'll also give it a different font family, but it's completely optional. Now back to container, give it a 10 pixel border radius, a semi-transparent black box shadow, and align the text to center of the container. Next, I'll style the timer ID. It will display the time. Don't get confused with my code as it is somewhat overdone. You can simply use a color property to achieve it. Instead, I have used the background clip to display a transparent text over colored background. Later I'll change the color with a background image and the timer will look cool and elegant. After the timer element, I'll style the input with timer input ID. Start by adding a 5 pixels padding to the input, and a solid 2 pixel border with matching blue shade. End with 15 pixel border radius to give some curve to the input field. Once it's done, let's style the control div element. Give it a flex display. Justify the content in center, and give some gap between each item. I'll use 20 pixel gap to separate each button inside control div element. The timer key class is specific to all buttons in our Pomodoro project. It will have a gradient background as a matching theme for today's project. Let's give it some padding, medium font size, no border, just radius for curve. Give it a pointer cursor and transition for background color. I'll leave the font color white for now, maybe later I will change this. The hover effect for timer key will only have a background with linear gradient and maybe color, or leave it white for now. The motion effect class is pure decoration. I have used it to animate the reset button in Y-axis by just 5 pixels. It will have animate property with a name, 1 second timer, and infinite loop. The name motion is used to define a keyframe that will have a time-based transform property that will translate in Y-axis. In simple words, we will get an infinite jump effect in reset button. Okay, I'm done with CSS. Now's the time to write some JavaScript code and make the Pomodoro timer working. Before starting, let's put some obvious-looking functions in each button's on-click event listeners. Don't worry, just follow me and you will learn their purpose. Inside the script tags, start with defining variable name time interval. There is no need to assign anything in it initially. Next, define another variable left time that may take 25 minutes as initial value. After that, write the start timer function. It will assign a value from set interval method to the time interval variable. The set interval method takes a function named update timer as its first argument, and 1000 milliseconds in second argument. Next, write the stop timer function. It will use the clear interval method to empty the time interval variable. Now, inside the reset timer function, I will use clear interval just as above and reset the left time variable to 25 minutes. Here I am calling an update display function. I will write it in few minutes. Wait and watch. Now let's write the update display function. Don't get confused with wrong naming. I'll fix it. First, finish the code writing. This function will calculate the minutes and seconds and update the display in the element with timer ID. Rest is simple maths. We use division to convert second into minutes, and then floor it to drop any decimals. Finally, get modulus to find remaining seconds. Now write the update timer function. It starts by comparing if left time is greater than 0 or not. If it's big, then reduce 1 in each iteration and update display. Else first clear interval, then return or alert user that the session is complete. Lastly, reset the left time to 25 minutes, then call update display function. Okay, I think something is still missing. We haven't yet written the set timer function. So let's fix it. This function will start by holding the input value in a constant, then checking if it's a number or not. Also check if the value is equals to or less than 0. If this condition fits, then alert the user appropriately. Else set the left time to input value in seconds and call update display function. Alright, our Pomodoro timer is ready. You can use it as is, or update some style, maybe add some sound effects, some background image, or anything you wish. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell and put your queries in comments. Also check out the description for link to view the timer in working. Good luck, keep coding, and thanks for watching.